Hi, as promised, I have a strength building to Chaturanga flow here today on the practice. So I promise it's not doing like 40 Chaturanga Dandasanas in a row. As a matter of fact, there's only a handful of them sprinkled in, but there is a lot of upper body work in this sequence. So be prepared for that. Take breaks if you need them. And just know that this sequence is to build up the strength in Chaturanga, because when we're in Chaturanga, I think most of us struggle with the downward portion and having strength as we lower and bring the elbows into that 90-degree angle. And you'll find that other poses in yoga will help you build up to that strength and help you get to that knees off the floor, full version of your Chaturanga Dandasana. So let's go ahead and come to our mats. Come to the back of your mat and we will start in Child's Pose. So just keep the knees together and you can bring the arms alongside you. Just a little rest here before the arms and the shoulders get a nice workout today. So go ahead and close the eyes. Start to focus the breath in through the nose and out. Notice how your back and shoulders are feeling today as you're in this child's pose. Take advantage of letting the shoulders spread out wide and across the back, and feel the arms sink down into the mat. One more inhale and exhale here. On the next inhale, take your hands and push yourself up until you come into a hero's pose, Vajrasana, just sitting onto your shins. And from here, we'll warm up the wrists and the hands before we do this full sequence that spends a lot of time on the wrists and the hands. So let's go ahead and take the fingers and interlace them together. And from here, we'll just start to draw figure eights with the wrists, loosening them up, waking up the hands, the wrists, and the forearms. All right, from here, take your left hand, extend it out in front of you, and then point the fingertips down. From here, you can take the right hand and just start to pull the left hand in towards you a little bit. You can keep the elbow straight. If you need to bend it, if that feels a little better, that is totally fine too. This isn't a very strong pull, just a nice, gentle stretch throughout the wrist and the forearm. Let's reverse that and slowly take the left fingertips up towards the sky. Again, either fully extending the elbow or bending it if it's too intense on the wrist. There's a lot that runs through those little bones of the wrist, and there's not a lot of room there. So if you feel any pinching or any tension as you do this, make sure you ease off. Maybe you can only come back a little bit. But this should be gentle, and we're not forcing this, especially through that small area of the wrist. All right, go ahead and reverse that and take the right arm out. Fingertips point down, and the left hand starts to pull the right hand in towards the body. Some of you may be on the hypermobile end of the spectrum, and also keep that in mind so that you're not causing any extra pressure on your joints. Reverse that, and now take the right fingertips up towards the sky. This tends to be a little more sensitive on me, which makes sense because I am right-handed. Make sure you're still sitting up tall. And from here, let's extend both the arms out, and we'll start to pump the fingertips in, quickly making fists, and then extending the fingers out long, just as quickly as you can, and make sure that you try to get that full extension with the fingers straight out, and then bringing them into a fist. You'll feel that in through the hands and a lot into the forearms. We'll take that for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Give it a little shake out. Okay, now let's move up into our tabletop. The wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. From tabletop, let's inhale, drop the belly, and come into our cow pose, and then exhale, push into cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Pushing the mat away, driving the shins down. And continue to flow here. Use your breath. Use your own timing with your breath as you flow in and out. If you would like to circle the torso, maybe take a little extra movement in your cat and cow. Whatever feels good. Move it around. Try to find any of those sticky spots. Send your breath into any areas that need it and feel it open. Very good. Come back into stillness, and from here, tuck the toes. We'll push back into our downward facing dog. First downward facing dog of the sequence. We can pedal it out. Maybe lift one heel or two. If you'd like to shift forward, maybe move the hips from left to right. Just moving our dog a little bit. Still driving the hands down into the mat. And then slow down and come into stillness. Take a nice inhale here in your downward facing dog. And exhale it out through the mouth, driving the heels into the mat. Very good. From here, we'll roll up onto the balls of the feet and come into plank. Check your alignment in plank for the shoulders over the wrists. Your heels should be pressing back and you're up on the balls of the feet. From plank, we'll take some rocking motions. So start to shift forward. So now the shoulders are even further ahead of the wrists. You're going to feel the forearms really start to activate, and then shift back into the feet. So we're pushing the heels further back, and then take those rocking motions. We'll go for 10, 9, press into the finger pads, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Return to your plank. Double check your alignment. From plank, let's go ahead and lower the knees down to the mat. So now we're in a knees down position. And if you need to adjust, your hips should be forward from the knees. We'll start to bend the elbows and shift forward for the supported version of Chaturanga. Bring the elbows firmly into the sides, lower down, untuck the toes, inhale up, lower the knees towards the mat, and you're in your Cobra pose. So the elbows are slightly bent and gaze is forward. From Cobra, tuck the toes, start to lift the hips, and we'll push back into our downward facing dog. Very good. From downward facing dog, let's inhale that right leg up into the sky. Lift the toes, start to bend the right knee. Draw the right heel towards the left hip. Actively engage that right knee, lifting higher, higher, higher. And let's take some knee circles with that right knee. We'll do 3 in one direction.
and then feel free to reverse it when you are done with those. I've got a little clicking going on, so if you can hear that. When you're done, lift that right foot back up into the sky for your three-legged dog. Now, we'll start to shift forward onto the left toes. Keep that right leg lifted for a one-legged plank. The shoulders are over the wrists. Push back into the hands. Come back into your three-legged dog. Leg is lifted. We'll do that 2 more times. Shifting forward. One-legged plank. Exhale, push back. Three-legged down dog. Last one. Plank. Push back, drive those hands into the mat, lift that leg, lift a little higher, and release it down into your downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale. Exhale it out. This time, inhale the left foot up and into the sky. And from here, we'll start to bend that left knee. Lift the left knee higher and higher as you draw the left heel towards the right hip, and take those knee circles on the left side for 1, 2, and 3. Reverse it for 3 more. Lift that left leg up for your three-legged dog. Shift forward for your one-legged plank on the left side, and we'll take 2 more of those. Inhale up, and then come forward, pushing back, lifting the left foot up into the sky. Come forward into your one-legged plank, and then lift back up into your three-legged down dog before releasing into your downward facing dog. Take an inhale, exhale it out. From here, let's lift that right foot back into the sky for your three-legged down dog. Start to shift forward onto the ball of the left foot. Round the upper back as you push into the mat and draw the right foot in between the hands. You're in your runner's lunge on the right side. From here, we'll take an easy twist. Allow the left hand to come to the mat. Open up the chest as you dial that right arm up into the sky and push back with that left heel. Engage the left quad to draw the knee up and stay active in that back leg. From here, press into the left foot as we lift the torso up for a revolved high twist. So looking over to the right. Pausing here. Keep that right knee pushing towards the center line to keep your balance. Flip the left hand up and inhale for a revolved reverse warrior. From your reverse warrior, return back to that twisted high lunge. So looking over towards the right, the left hand is in front. And then inhale, come back to your high lunge, both of the arms alongside the ears. Exhale it out. On the next inhale, take cactus arms in your high lunge. Lift the chest, gaze goes upward, draw the shoulders together and down the back. Then lift the hands back up alongside the ears. Pull them down into heart center in prayer. We'll shift into that right foot and then come up into your warrior 3. On the right side, hips are level. The left foot is flexed. If you can, sweep the arms back for airplane arms. Feel the shoulders move away from the ears. From here, you can take the hands back to heart center. Slowly, very slowly, bend into that right knee as you allow that left foot to drop far back behind you, and you return to your runner's lunge on the right. And let's step back and push back into a downward facing dog. Here we'll take our vinyasa, come into a plank, start to shift the weight forward, bend the elbows, bring them into the rib cage, lower into chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale into your down dog. Awesome. Let's take that again. We'll run through it a little more quickly. From downward facing dog, shift forward to plank. From plank, we'll take those rocks for 10. Shift forward, push the heels back, forward and back. That's 4, 6, 8, and 10. Very good. From plank pose, let's push it back into our downward facing dog. In your down dog, we'll lift that right foot up into the sky for a three-legged dog. Draw the right heel in towards the left hip. We'll make 2 circles this time in one direction, and then 2 going the opposite way. Lift up into your three-legged dog. We'll shift forward for that one-legged plank for 1. Exhale, push it back, push into the hands for three-legged dog. 2 more times, come forward, one-legged plank. Push it back, and then come forward. Push those shoulder blades down and across the back. Come back into your three-legged dog. Lift that right foot a little higher and then release it back to your down dog. Take an inhale and exhale it out. Opposite side, left foot up into the sky for your three-legged dog. Bend the left knee. Lift it higher, engaging that left thigh. And we'll take a couple of rotations, 2 in one direction, and then switch it around, opening up that left hip. Back to your three-legged dog, taking those one-legged planks on this side, shift forward on the right toes, bringing the torso forward, and then coming back, lift that left foot up high, and coming forward, draw the navel in, stay strong, hollow body through the core. And then forward once more. Last one, lift the foot up into the sky. And from here, let's start to bend that left knee and draw it in between the hands, round the upper back, make room for the foot. And we're in our runner's lunge on the left side. From runner's lunge, take the right hand to the mat, spiral the chest up towards the sky, easy twist. From your easy twist, press into that left foot, keep the left hand behind you as we come into a high lunge twist on this side. So the right arm is in front, left hand behind, maybe gazing behind. Flip the right palm, revolve reverse warrior, start to lean the torso back. Back hand maybe comes to the back thigh or to the calf. On an inhale, back to your twist. Right hand is in front. Exhale here. And then inhale, high lunge facing the top of the mat. The arms alongside the ears. Tailbone is slightly tucked. Push back through that back heel. Exhale, nice deep exhale out. On an inhale, cactus arms. Open up the chest, a little back bend here. Exhale, back to your high lunge, arms alongside the ears. Inhale, draw the hands down through heart center. Press into that left front foot. Exhale out as you come into warrior 3 on the left side. Maybe take the hands back as you swing them out and fly with your airplane arms. Take the hands back to heart center. Slowly start to bend into that left knee. Allow the right foot to plant far behind you, and you come back into your runner's lunge. From runner's lunge, step that left foot back. You're in your plank. Let's take our vinyasa. Shift forward, the shoulders in front of the wrists, and then bend the elbows. Keep that tailbone tucked. Come into your chaturanga. Pause and hold. And then come through to your upward facing dog. From upward facing, push back into your downward dog. Very good. If we can take a moment here, maybe come to child's pose or stay in your downward facing dog and take a deep breath in. And exhale it out. One more inhale in. Exhale it out. Wherever you're at, return to your downward facing dog. Shift forward into plank. All right. Yes, we do have a lot of plank in this sequence. Now we're going to switch it up and come to forearm plank. So lower down. We'll give the wrists a little break. Come onto your forearms. So the elbows are underneath the shoulders. The tailbone is slightly lifted. Pushing down into the shoulders so that they're spread wide across the back. And we'll take some hip dips. Start to shift the hips over towards the right side of your mat. Come back to center. And then over towards the left. Center. Right. Center. All the while, keep that belly button drawn in. The bottom of the ribs are trying to reach the top of the hip points. Nice hollow body. We'll take 2 more on each side. Feel free to put your knees down and come to a break if you need to. So now you're back in forearm plank. From forearm plank, let's walk our feet in and find our dolphin. So pushing the hands into the mat, the head comes in between the elbows. Take a breath in your dolphin. Heels do not need to touch the mat. We just are looking for straight legs if you can, but the knees can be bent too. From here, we're going to push from dolphin up into downward facing dog. We'll take some elbow drops from downward dog to our dolphin pose. And in these, if you need to do one arm at a time, that's where you should take it, okay? Just nice and slow, one arm at a time, and then lifting up. If you want a challenge and want to go for both arms dropping at the same time, we will do that. So let's begin. Start to lower down into dolphin. Lift up to downward dog. Lowering down. Lifting up. That's 2. Can we do 3 more? Lowering down. Pushing back. Lower down to dolphin. Pushing back. 1 more, I think. Lowering down. Push back into your downward facing dog. That's awesome. So now we'll lower back down into our forearm plank. And from here, if your hands are separated like mine, take them together so you make a little diamond shape in front of your face. And we're going to take some nose dips in our dolphin or our plank pose here. And you'll feel a really good arm workout as you start to come forward. So shift forward in your dolphin, maybe touching your nose into that little triangle. Then push back into your dolphin. Coming forward once more. And then push back into dolphin. Can we do 2 more? Nose forward and push back. Nose forward and then push back into our dolphin. Very good. From our dolphin, let's go ahead and lower the knees and push back into a child's pose. In your child's pose, let's bring the arms all the way to alongside the body. We'll give those shoulders a full break here. Start to come back to the breath if you lost it, if it got a little away from you. Just allow those arms to sink down and feel the shoulders even widen more deeply as you take this nice little break. Very good. From here, let's just use our hands to push ourselves back upright, and then we'll come into a tabletop position. From tabletop, let's take the hands out a little further and we'll prepare for our puppy pose. And in puppy pose, the hands will be, maybe about 8 to 10 inches further than they were in tabletop. And you'll start to lower down. The hips are still above the knees. And just stretch it out to allow the chest to come down towards the mat. You can have the forehead on the mat. Or if you feel like you want to take it a little deeper, the chin can come up and rest on the mat. If you want to go even further, you can also come up on fingertips and pretend you have a cupcake underneath each hand and like you don't want to squish it. And from here, keeping the tailbone tucked and the navel drawing in, you'll feel the front side of the shoulders really get a nice stretch. Very good. Wherever you're at in your puppy pose, let's shift forward. Allow the hips to come to the mat. Maybe take the feet just a little wider than hip width distance, and we'll take our Sphinx Pose. So the elbows are just in front of the ribs and the forearms extended in front of you, fingers out wide. We'll keep this active in our Sphinx Pose. Feel the elbows and the arms try to draw back towards the torso. Actively lift the sternum up towards the sky. Gaze is slightly up, but I'm not cranking my neck back. I still have a nice smooth back of the neck. Inhale here and exhale it out. Really good. From this point, we'll lower down, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, and prepare for Locust Pose. As we inhale, the chest, the head, and the neck up off of the mat. Take the arms out alongside you with the thumbs pointing down and the palms facing inward. Lifting the legs up off of the mat, maybe taking the knees up off, and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's lower back down. Take a moment with the head on the back of the hands. Inhale in. And exhale. Very slowly, take the hands underneath the shoulders. Start to shift the hips back. Coming through a child's pose. And through there, we'll just push the hands back and we'll come up to a hero's pose. In hero, let's just shift the hips to the side, swing the feet out in front of you. Move my position on the mat. So now the legs are in front of you, knees are bent, and with the toes pointing towards the top of the mat, we'll bring the hands behind the hips, start to press into the hands, press into the feet, and lift the hips up for your reverse tabletop. Drive the hips upward towards the sky as you feel the knees reaching for the top of the mat. You can allow your neck to release, or if you would like to keep it slightly lifted as I have it, that's fine too. It makes it a little easier for me to talk during the class. From your reverse tabletop, you can either stay here or walk the feet out and straighten the legs for a reverse plank. Still pushing into the mat with the feet. to lift the hips, tuck the tailbone, hold here. Very good. Bring the feet back in to your reverse tabletop. And from reverse tabletop, let's start to shift the hips forward so that they get they're more closer to the heels than they are to the shoulders. And from here, we'll take a bit of a stretch. So round the tailbone, bend the elbows, and start to lean back. And you'll feel a really deep stretch into the front of the shoulders after all of that upper body work today. It doesn't need to be very deep, but you will definitely feel this one. Very good. From here, you can lower onto your forearms and start to lower yourself onto the mat. And maybe take a hold of the legs, squeeze them in tight, wrap yourself in a little ball. Squeeze, 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 really as much energy as you can. And then from there, release. Extend the left leg out long. Draw that right knee back in. Shift the right knee over to the left. Maybe take the hips a little bit towards the right to keep a nice straight spine as you come into a twist. Open the right arm out to the side. It can come out straight or maybe it's cactus arms. And maybe have the left arm rest on top of the right leg. On the next inhale, return to center. Extend that right leg out long and take the left leg in. Give the left leg a squeeze and then let's shift it over towards the right. Maybe move those hips to the left as we take a twist. Finally releasing that left leg and coming back to our back, and we'll come into our corpse pose for Shavasana. Allow the legs to open and the feet to spread. Take up space on your mat. Allow everything to relax. Feel the heat that you just created throughout the body in this very strong strength building practice. As the breath returns to normal, just take a full body account of where you're at. Feel every part of the body start to relax as it takes in this intense sequence today. Feel the length created in the neck as the shoulders fall away and reach further down across the body. Feel the collarbone spread wide across the chest to create space with every inhale. Feel the energy and the heat we created throughout the arms and the wrists and the hands today. Connect with the earth.
Take this time to appreciate the strength that you have in your body, to come to your mat and to practice, and to appreciate the strength that you will grow and build every time that you step onto the mat. When you are ready, go ahead and start to blink the eyes open. Very slowly start to draw the feet in towards the body. And however you like to bring yourself to upright, whether it's on your side or maybe taking a couple of rolls, we'll all join each other back in the center of our mats, maybe crossing our legs. Inhale the hands up to the sky. Draw them down through heart center with a slight tuck of the chin to close our practice. Thanks for delving deep with me today in that very strong practice, and hopefully it'll set you up for some beautiful Chaturanga Dandasanas in the future. If you like this sequence, please hit the like button and feel free to comment below with any suggestions or what you love to have in your practice. Have a great day. Make it a great one. Bye.